Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. Though I had heard the original Kronos Pro Limited Edition turntable at its premiere public showing during CES 2012, showcased in Suite 35-209, the late Vladimir Lamb's high-end audio demo room at the Venetian, my now 5-decade-long quest to experience the most vibrant, faithful sonic recreation of recorded music in my own space reached one of its most definitive watershed moments in 2015. The catalyst? The arrival of the Kronos Sparta turntable. When my review debuted in the Absolute Sound in January of 2016, I made my conviction clear. With the realization of his patented, suspended, counter-rotational dual platter system, Maestro Louis Desjardins had achieved nothing less than the single most significant advance in turntable design the audio world had seen in decades. With its instantly recognizable contra-rotational dual platter system, that exclusive singular Kronos patented engineering innovation focuses squarely on physics. In my assessment of the Sparta for the Absolute Sound, I go into the mechanics and physics involved, and that work is linked in today's description for those who may have interest in developing a deeper understanding. But conventional suspended turntables must contend with parasitic vibrations and torsional energies that they generate and store in their subchassis, forces that create destructive microscopic feedback at the stylus. By spinning its second identical platter at the same speed but in the opposite direction, the Kronos architecture doesn't simply try to compensate for or diminish those otherwise inescapable signal-corrupting forces before they can contaminate the groove stylus interface. It prevents their creation entirely. Suffice it to say that I bought my review model Sparta, and from that point, my Kronos experience has been both remarkably broad and deep. I have since traded up to the Kronos Pro LE, including its supercapacitor power supply, and I'm using the Kronos Discovery RS tone arm fitted with an Etsuro Gold moving coil cartridge. And I have had the singular pleasure of experiencing every Kronos product developed since then, as well as the further honor of having covered, at some considerable length, the advancing technologies, engineering approaches, and philosophies that result in the inspired sonic performance delivered by the entire Kronos family of products. You may follow that entire arc in both my written and recorded work. But the Kronos family of products delivers the most honest, authentic, and engaging LP playback experience I've found in my 5 decades in and around this industry. And Perpetual represents the latest superb layer of icing on this already magnificent sonic cake. Louis Desjardins' goal with the Kronos Perpetual was to integrate as much of what he had learned creating the sui generis Discovery turntable, incorporating and leveraging those innovations into a more compact, accessible, yet still uncompromising platform. As such, it is the epitome of the application of trickle-down performance, and the resultant effectiveness of its synergy so closely approximates the apex performance of Discovery that it even astounded him. As the logical conflation of all he learned with the creation of the benchmark-establishing Discovery, the Perpetual delivers almost every last scintilla of Discovery's milestone level of performance at some 60% of Discovery's price. For those curious, I have gone into some considerable granular detail, explaining the myriad layers of innovative engineering, meticulous attention to detail, enhanced mechanical tuning, far-reaching vibration isolation, even its supercapacitor power supply, and how they all contribute to Perpetual's performance in my print review published at Part-Time Audiophile on July 19th and linked in today's description. Here today, I'm going to focus on the resultant unrivaled, inescapably authentic aural rewards they bring to Perpetual's matchless voice. In some ways, it is almost impossible to adequately describe the consummate performance Perpetual achieves using the traditional audio vocabulary. I know that I and several other seasoned reviewers faced that same challenge when trying to find words to adequately describe what we heard when we first witnessed the Discovery's game-changing performance. From the first needle drop, the most arresting sonic attribute of Perpetual was its starkly rendered, radically silent backdrop. Because Perpetual is so effective at vanquishing any identifiable mechanical signature or vibrational haze, fine micro details, acoustic ambient cues like the leading and trailing edges of notes, emerge from a completely black environment. Its vanishingly low noise floor establishes an eerie, pristine silence from which the music more freely and completely emerges, springing to life from a pure, unsullied stillness, a quietness that rivals, or with the right recording, actually transcends the celebrated performance of open reel. The effect is simply intoxicating. Bolstered by its sophisticated dual servo-controlled system and integral bank of supercapacitors for its DC motors, it delivers an incredibly low wow and flutter specification, some 15 ten-thousandths of 1%, or 0.0015% weighted root mean square. By way of comparison, the wow and flutter specification for our competitor's flagship $450,000 700-pound turntable is twice as high at 0.003 of 1%, or 0.003%. Yet Perpetual bests that table's performance on its own, even without the enhanced stability and quietness provided with the use of its optional supercapacitor power supply. The result of this unwavering speed consistency provides for exceptional accuracy of tonal stability. The resultant rock-solid pitch precision is comparable to that normally associated with today's elite digital playback system, yet conspicuously different from digital. The results of this precise stability allows Perpetual to serve up an unwavering, continuous, and persistent organic flow. Listening to solo piano or violin passages, sustained guitar solos, or orchestral crescendos, you are treated to absolute pitch certainty with zero wavering, greatly enhancing the perception of realism. This enhanced speed confidence presents astonishingly accurate pitch across the entire bandwidth, with remarkable results. Bass is presented with superb clarity and resolution of pitch definition, delivering discerningly controlled, articulately rendered individuality, teeming with texture and impact. And I'm happy to report that the benefit of this is more authentically resolved pitch and remarkable impact that didn't stop at the bass. It runs broadband up through the mid-bass, the power region, the mid-range, and into the topmost octaves of reproduction. Enjoying the supplementary benefits of its enhanced precise rendering of bass, which also serves to minimize the effects of frequency masking, its enrichment of the mid-range is revelatory. The crucial midband is more refined, with more expressive detail and nuance than I've ever experienced from any other platform, regardless of price. Fundamental pitch and tonal color are more honest, more faithful, and instrumental bloom is more apparent and believable, infusing the bodies of voices with conspicuously more authentic size and texture. The Kronos Perpetual exploits these benefits to remarkable limits. The way Perpetual performs the top 4 octaves is every bit as exceptional. Treble is more delicately detailed, clearly resolute, open, and full of shimmer and sparkle, almost sounding as if the notes in this bandwidth are being generated from the air itself rather than by mechanical transduction. With the best recordings, the newfound air and space up top seems both effortless and without limit, with enhanced decay and remarkably lifelike shimmer and sheen, clearly establishing that perception of graceful effortlessness, of unfettered extension, all with no etching, glare, or grain recording permitting. As many of you are aware, I place great significance on a system's ability to reconstruct the palpability, the body, of the music under its sway. Here, Perceptual's proficiency at recreating a convincing, three-dimensional acoustic space, its ability to render instruments and vocalists with a more corporeal sense of genuine body, bloom, and weight, with realistic size, shape, and location, is simply unmatched in my experience. And let's talk about its unreserved dynamic authority and recreation of scale. In part because its suspended chassis is so effective at isolating the playback mechanism from any form of mechanical feedback, including in-room vibration created by sounds from the loudspeakers. The Kronos Perpetual handles massive dynamic shifts with complete composure, confidence, and an unconstrained sense of scale. Whether navigating the delicate solo violin work of Joseph Silverstein's reading of Melodia, the third movement of Bartók's supremely challenging sonata for solo violin, or the massive orchestral slam found in the veritable cacophony of the orchestration for the opening of Prokofiev's Scythian Suite, tracking remains perfectly composed, maintaining laser-sharp imaging and instrumental separation, even during these most demanding of passages. In terms of its ability to resolve and present impeccable pitch definition, like the breathtaking, hyper-realistic sonic presence of Henrik Ziering's elegant articulation and composed technical mastery of the violin on Édouard Lalo's Symphony Espagnole, or down into the subsonic strata as with Saint-Saëns Symphony No. 3, I have never even dared to imagine that the control and expressiveness the Kronos Perpetual routinely delivers could be possible. And Perpetual favors no genre, style, or range of music. It delivers unrivaled transduction of everything I listen to, from progressive metal groups like Dream Theater, Tool, or Porcupine Tree, to arena rock Goliaths such as Boston, Rush, or Queen, from female singer-songwriters like Carole King, Tori Amos, or Sarah McLachlan, to all variety of the blues with artists like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Muddy Waters, or Robin Ford, from all varieties of jazz, across Miles Davis, Weather Report, or David Sanborn, right down to masters of rock like Jethro Tull, Pink Floyd, or The Who. When you consider Perpetual's comprehensive set of assets, its unfailing ability to breathe life into our music, with uncannily accurate, pitch-perfect timbres, agile effortlessness, organic fluidity and naturalness, subtly nuanced expressiveness, enhanced presentation of mid-range purity and resolution, its dynamic scaling, revelation of nuance, inner detail, and microdynamic shading, supplemented with its utterly enchanting capability to render effortlessly honest tonality, authentic texture, and present a hauntingly real degree of physical corporeality to human and instrumental voices, you only begin to understand its unmatched prowess. Above all, living with Perpetual's exceptional voice has helped me to realize one of its truest gifts. The Kronos Perpetual has this profound ability to forge a stronger, more emotional connection with the music it transcribes. It has exposed new levels of appreciation and understanding with music I've been listening to for decades. With its effortless ability to uncover otherwise obscured nuance, subtle yet affecting inflection and shading, and vibrantly expressive detail, this platform more fluidly and expressly bridges the gap between artist and listener. It strips away the mechanical to reveal the soul of the performance, providing a purer, more emotional view into the composer's core intent. When Perpetual arrived, I chose to install it immediately next to my current reference, the Kronos Pro. This arrangement allowed me to swap my Kronos Discovery RS tone arm with its Etsuro Gold cartridge between the two tables freely in under 2 minutes. This versatility greatly enhanced my ability to more accurately compare and contrast the performance differences between the two. Considering that the Pro was designed nearly a decade and a half ago and was Desjardins' archetype paradigm-shifting creation, while it fares better under this comparative light than other, more recently introduced conventional designs, it was still handily bested. By direct comparison, Perpetual's substantially lower noise floor, elevated levels of micro detail resolution and resultant transparency, dynamic coherence, and speed stability presented a distinctly refined view into the music under its care. As remarkable as Pro was, and honestly still is, the Kronos Perpetual offers a margin of improvement perhaps twice that of the Pro LE's previous landmark performance, if not greater. Clearly, no one has heard everything. But in my decades pursuing the ongoing advances in vinyl reproduction, I've yet to hear another LP playback system, regardless of price, that can begin to render this degree of mid-range purity and detail, or uncover so much relevant musical information down into the silence defined by its virtually non-existent noise floor, let alone one that may best it. In my experience, short of moving up to Discovery, there simply is no more authentic, resolute, or engaging LP playback system available today, period. What Maestro Desjardins has managed to accomplish with the creation of the Kronos Perpetual is simply extraordinary. After blowing past limits that had been unassailable for decades and resetting the bar for what the format could deliver with the Discovery, standing alone and defining a class of its own, he has managed to synergize the lion's share of Discovery's advanced degree of performance into a package that is just over half that price. While Perpetual is clearly priced in a more rarefied strata, one that will place it out of the economic reach for most music lovers, but with more and more distinct cost-no-object turntable models that exceed the $200,000 price point coming to market, I'm equally compelled to emphasize what an exceptional value it represents. For vinylophiles like myself, those who've chosen to scale the ever more complex slopes of vinyl playback, chasing that elusive dragon of perfection, its surfeit of gifts, something I have come to refer to as its deft agility, is without peer. Again, save for its inspired sibling, the Discovery. Its existence is an inspired example of how value and exceptionalism can be synthesized into one equally beautiful and incomparably high-performance platform. Touché, Maestro Desjardins. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel and my efforts may be found in today's description section or on my companion website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.